Welcome to Draft, boy! Welcome back to Draft Boys, the OFPL Draft podcast. As always, joined by Miles, Hito, and myself, Whitey. Lads, how we doing?
So good. So good, mate.
What did you think of that one?
Yeah,
It was fire. It was fire. I loved it.
I felt that one. It's just, I know it's the same, but it gets better and better each week, eh?
Yeah, I know. I like it. Look, I like that I get some way of, coming up with something each week.
Just surprising us on the fly.
Yeah, I get natural reactions from you. It's great. It's great.
That's it.
Boys, how we doing? I've missed you.
Yeah.
I know.
always.
I know. We're back again, though. We're back again, even though we've got an international break coming up. We're flying out with the pods.
We're persistent, we never give up. Never give up.
Never give up.
That's our motto here. Never give up.
Oh, like
All right.
Gasly.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, boys. Tell me about you. How your game weeks went. Actually, let's start with the person with the lowest score. Hito, why don't you run us through why you have such a low score this week?
Yeah, well, my lowest score was on purpose this week, which is nice for a change.
Are you sure?
I figured out a new talent that I can pick players that aren't going to do well instead of picking players that will do well. So,
well, maybe you should teach that to Bobby.
Maybe. But yeah, so this week I was in contention for last place to put myself at first waiver wire pick to pick up Ronaldo when he comes in. So
CR7. Ronnie,
CR7.
The GOAT.
It's
oh my God. Such a good intro.
So thankfully I was successful with my strategies and I have dropped to last place and first on the waiver wire.
Everything you just said then sounded just wrong.
I know.
It's like, thankfully I failed and I'm in last place.
Mate, it was weird when I was looking through some transfers and I was trying to look at players that wouldn't get any points but still play so my subs wouldn't come on. It was a very weird switch for this week to look at it that way.
So, Miles, how do you feel about tanking?
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's part of the draft strategy, especially when you're playing waiver wire. And, we looked at things like the first game week. I know that we did our draft at the last minute and Lukaku had already been added to the system. But a lot of people wouldn't have actually had the opportunity to draft Lukaku. So I know personally there was a lot of other leagues that everyone was just tanking, leaving their best players on the bench to get Lukaku. So it's a part of it. And I know we don't see it often, but I love it. I think it's exciting.
It is good. I mean, it definitely adds an extra dimension. That dimension doesn't last very long. But yeah, it's actually rare that there's players that actually come in and affect fantasy this late on. Like, I just can't even remember the last time there was like such a huge signing kind of after deadline day. Can you guys think of anyone? Who was the last one?
Yeah, the last
we had Bale. We had Bale last year, but it was a very questionable.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I can't. It's been a while because the year before that, or was it the year before that the window closed early?
Yeah, it was a year before COVID that it closed like at the start of the season.
Yeah,
and then there was some uproar, and then COVID, fucked everything like it does.
Pushed it back in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to actually just get back to just briefly talking about Tom's tanking because he's actually made some big calls in dropping.
Would you call him Thomas the Tank Engine?
Oh yeah, motherfucker! Because he's dropped some fairly decent fantasy assets in the process. So he's dropped Wood, Laporte, and Raya, who I think's a pretty decent keeper. To actually achieve this goal. Because if he didn't drop them, we saw Laporte got big returns, Wood got big returns, and Bobby would have actually beaten him to last. So, what do you think about that, Hito? Are you going to try and pick up at least two of those players I could see from, at first glance. What's your strategy just to have Ronaldo?
Well, I feel like Ronaldo's going to come in as a forward. So the Wood drop was kind of going to happen anyway if I won. And it was the risk I was willing to take in case I didn't. I still think there's a few other options out there. And the same with the likes of Laporte and the keeper. I feel like, yes, City keeper, but with Pep rotation, you never know. And I just felt comfortable with. I felt comfortable with my base. Like I've got Robbo, Shaw, and Mings as my main defenders. And I feel quite comfortable with those as a 3. So it's not ideal, but you have to take some kind of risk when you're going for this. And that's what I took to bring them in.
The things you do for Ronnie, eh?
Oh
Yeah.
God, so good.
I never thought I'd be doing this for a Man United player, but here I am.
Disgusting. That's what it is. It's disgusting. I think everyone should have waited till I got him because it feels like
yeah, a lot fairer.
Yeah, that's much more fair. That was pretty interesting. Well, Hito, why don't you just quickly tell us how many points it took to tank it?
So I got 22.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough from him.
Only points came from Bamford. Everyone else got 1s or 2s. So all of my guys I brought on got 1s. So 4 players and they all got 1. So
you should probably tell. You should probably tell everyone their names just so, if anyone has those players, they know to drop them or not pick them up.
Krul, Gibson, Guehi, and Fabio Silva.
Okay. And that's that. All right. I think, Milo, you had the next highest. Was that right?
Yeah, I got 42. Oh, sorry, 46. It's still like a solid score. I pretty much made all of my points in defense. I just got an assist with Mahrez. Actually, sorry, I forgot about my boy Antonio. He was hiding behind my little pencil I've got propping up my phone here.
Oh, my God.
He got 11 points. Boy, doesn't he look good.
We'll get into that when we talk about West Ham. But when I saw his goal and his assists, I was swearing. Like it's scary. But
he's such a freak. But look, I want you to have this opportunity to talk about your team in last because it's finally you've got top scorer of the week. And I want.
What do you mean finally, mate?
I want you to talk about how good your waiver was because
talk to us,
I
Big Daddy.
give you props.
It was a good waiver. It was a really good waiver. And it kind of helped that like half the bottom of the league were trying to tank, I guess. And I'd kind of forgotten that. So anyway, I got 62 points this week. Solid haul. I've had a lot of injuries on my bench too. So I'm in second and I'm no idea how I've stuck here. But anyway, so I got standard points in my team already from Tony and Son, 10 points. Regulon got 9. He's been super consistent for me. But then I brought in Gray at Everton and Fornals. Now, Fornals we talked about last pod. I think a few of us thought he might go first just because that West Ham attack is looking so prolific and he seems to be getting the starts. And I was so surprised in second place when I got him and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I think he struck gold there.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. And then, of course, immediate returns from him. So, can't complain about that. And then, with Gray. With Gray, I basically picked him up later. Like no one grabbed him, and I talked him up last week. And I was kind of looking. I still had Emile Smith Rowe, and I'm like looking at that City fixture. I'm like, what am I doing with that turd? And so I just thought I'd take a risk on Gray, and he's got a goal, a nice finish. So pretty happy, really happy.
Mate, I'm surprised it took you that long. It took a City fixture to realise that you didn't need Smith Rowe. Come on.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I didn't know. They spent a lot of money. Whatever. I drafted him. But, I can't complain. I'm sitting pretty near the top of the table. I'm only 10 points off you now, Milo. So, but we will say quickly, the gap between first and last right now is you're going to need Ronaldo to bridge that gap. Let's just put it that way.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord I do.
Fucking hell. Like, you already have an 85-point gap from first after 3 game weeks.
Mate, that's 3 games for Ronnie. That's only 3 games.
Oh,
That's all he needs.
huge chat from Hito. All right, why don't we sink our teeth into the bulk of this pod? Oh, no. Mate, I nearly forgot snack chat again.
Oh, man, I was about to go off at you.
Come on.
Okay, now, snack chat, for those who don't know, is when we rate and berate snacks that we normally, one of us would bring to the pod. We can't do that because we're doing it over Zoom at the moment. So we're all just bringing ourselves a little snackage, nothing too serious, just what we have in the fridge. Hito, why don't you tell us what you got?
I've got some Monteith's crushed apple cider this week.
Oh, that's a textbook
And
drink.
I wasn't very planned in my lockdown life, so I had to chuck some ice in a glass with it because it wasn't refrigerated.
Nice. Oh, they're always better on ice, though. Monteith's are amazing.
Yeah, I'm not an ice with cider man myself.
Yeah, he doesn't like it to be watered down.
I know, I want a strong.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh yeah. We're getting tanked.
Milo, what do you got?
Well, look, I reckon you could answer my question for me. What were we drinking on the golf course at 7 a.m. the other day?
Oh, Jesus.
Pure blondes?
Heinies.
Super dries.
Heine's, baby.
Heine's.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
I'm on the Heine's. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, look, and we did say they are a great breakfast beer, but Miles, what do you think of them as a pre-dinner beverage?
Oh, yeah. Heine's are always good for me. They just go down so sweet. They're like, I think they're a bit of like the creme of the standard beer, you know?
I
Man,
kind of agree with that.
Flashbacks to my early drinking days with Heine's.
Yeah, me too. Like me too. And I went off Heineken's, and now I'm well back on them after Miles has been bringing them for me for breakfast.
It's the beer of football, though. So
yeah, true. The Giants.
Hey, the Giants. Yeah, I forgot about that. Hey, that's a natural thing for me. What did you get?
I guess so.
And I'm sorry, I'm snacking on some Nutrigrain, boys.
Oh, clutch.
cereal.
So you're basically having breakfast right now, right? You got the brekkie beer, you got the brekkie. I'm really hoping you used milk and not.
Yeah,
I had some milk.
Yeah. All right, boys. I've had something I've had a couple of weeks here. It's just I'm running with what's in the fridge. I've got the Bolter XPA, which I love, which could be very shaken up here. I'm a little bit worried. I can see the pressure, and I'll just go, fuck COVID.
Oh.
I have to say that
Delicious.
Seems like your tagline. I got fans messaging me like, shout out to Banter. He's just like, hey, I just cracked a beer. I'm just doing Whitey's catchphrase. Fuck you, COVID.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, man. I think we can all share in that hate and the love of beer.
And what are you snacking on over there?
I just got some literally just plain Mission tortilla strips. They're just salty goodness.
They're the good shit, though. Oh, and that crunch.
They are good.
Oh, the crunch.
That crunchy goodness.
That's enough time on snacks. I think we should start talking about these games. So just quickly before we get into this one, for this pod, we're just going to cover the first half of next game week's fixtures, and we're going to do an episode next week, which follows the back end of that, because obviously there's an international break, so plenty of time to talk about this stuff. First fixture we're going to talk about, Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. Now, Palace drew 2-2 with West Ham, which I never would have thought would happen. And, Spurs beat Watford 1-0. So, Milo, you love a bit of Crystal Palace action. Why don't you start telling us about that?
Yeah, I have to say, I thought that it was going to be really bad for them in the first half, but they really showed up in the second. And, boy, did Conor Gallagher really impress me.
Oh,
he had such a great game.
He's on loan, right? He's not sold.
Yeah, loan.
He's Chelsea boy. Boy.
Sorry, I should have said. I'm here going. I watched his 2 goals and I was like, fuck, we didn't just sell him, did we?
No, mate, he's not. Even though it's loaned, he's not coming back ever. He's just going to live in loan land forever.
No, or he'll be loaned again, and then he'll get sold to that club, and then he'll be amazing, and we'll buy him back for probably by that stage $150 billion.
You'll have to, sell part of your club.
The rate of inflation is so crazy.
Yeah, the other club will have a stake ownership in Chelsea because of how expensive it was.
But yeah, the best thing about this Gallagher thing is I've actually, my brother Dylan, yeah?
Yeah.
So he moved overseas, and I said, "Oh, why don't you start playing fantasy? Just in budget in one of these little leagues that I've created with some friends and family and stuff." And just to keep in contact. And he's never been into football before, and he is loving it now. He's pretty obsessed. He calls me about his team during the week, and on the weekends he's watching games, and he's just texting me, calling me, saying how crazy games are, and he just says, "I want Gallagher. That guy has been the best performance I've seen, this whole time." So, shout out to D. Awesome that he's playing fantasy and stuff. But
I respect that. I respect that for sure.
You just got to transition him over draft next season, mate.
You need someone to beat because you're always in last, or what?
Oh Jesus, that's harsh.
Oh, that one hurt. That one hurt.
Look, we all know he's got his Thomas the Tank Engine hat on this week. But, that's one of the things that brings up a good point that, and I think we were talking about it during preseason, that, watching at least watching the highlights of some of these games, you can see the players that are just doing a lot of stuff outside and just not maybe getting on the score sheet or looking really good, and who may break out in the next couple of weeks. And Conor Gallagher was looking very nice already this season. So it just speaks a lot to maybe watching at least the highlights each week if you don't do that.
Yeah, 100%. Boys, I just love that second goal. How Antonio-esque was that?
Oh, I agree.
The turn. 100%. I was like, did Antonio just change teams? What's going on here?
And put on a wig and change his skin color.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's not cool for him to be doing whiteface. No. But seriously, that was such a great finish. He worked the space beautifully. Yeah, full credit to him. And I can imagine seeing him going pretty soon in some leagues.
Yeah, if he hadn't been jumped on yet, I think there'd be some people pulling the trigger after a double haul.
For sure.
I borderline wish I had a rotating mid to kind of jump on this form personally. Maybe not for this fixture in particular, but I think, there's going to be games that he shows up. So I'm a little bit disappointed. Maybe I'll just get rid of Sterling, which is what Whitey should have done, halfway through last season. I'll just pull the trigger.
I'm looking forward to talking
later.
about that.
Yeah, we'll get back to that later. And so just before we finish on Palace, I just want to say Zaha in the second half, he kind of was a little bit, besides from Gallagher's performance, he was kind of man of the match for me. He kind of, really drew the game and made Palace stay in it. So, yeah, I think Zaha owners should be a little bit, it's a bit promising for him.
Okay, nice. And as we move on, can you get up their fixtures for us and give us a quick shout out to what's coming up for Palace?
I've actually got them just here if you want me to jump in, boys.
Yeah.
So obviously Spurs, then they've got Liverpool, then Brighton, then Leicester, then Arsenal, Newcastle, City. So a few easy ones sprinkled in there, but there's also a couple of hard ones. So
yeah, they're going to have a pretty tough start to this season, no doubt.
They'll be licking their chops over that Arsenal fixture, though, I bet.
Oh, who isn't? Okay, Tottenham. Now, Tottenham won 1-0 against Watford. So Harry Kane back in the starting lineup, which would be good to see for the people that own Harry Kane. The people that don't are probably a bit devoed.
Looks all
saying,
happy.
couldn't you be in quarantine at least another 3 months? But he started and he looked exactly how you'd expect. He was in all the right areas, but just didn't quite finish some opportunities.
Yeah.
And then, Bergwijn, the really interesting thing to come from that is that Bergwijn kept his spot in the starting lineup. And I think we were talking about who was going to get booted from the team because of Kane. And it looks like Lucas Moura has gone to the bench at this point and Bergwijn is staying in.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Kane was staying, I'm like, Moura, I'm dropping him. I just didn't.
Really? Yeah. You thought Moura over Bergwijn was going. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I just didn't have confidence in them. If Harry was staying, we just know how much goes through Harry and Son. I was like, I don't think we're going to see too much shift from whoever that third person is. So for me, it dropped the value so much.
That's a good point, actually, because, Bergwijn and Lucas Moura have looked great with, no Harry Kane and just Son there. And so they've had to take on more responsibility. So, yeah, you're not wrong there. Other highlights for me in this game was that amazing block from Dyer. Like, I don't even know if that was intentional, if it's just big fat head got in the way. But, that was pretty impressive. And then, Sonny, my boy, scoring a free kick there. Not really sure that was deliberate, but I think full credit to him because regardless of that, it's a good ball. Like, it's
a good ball in,
The reason it went in is because the keeper thought that someone was going to get on the end of it and clearly didn't react to it, just it going towards the goal. So
they're liking their 1-0s at the moment, Tottenham, aren't they?
They're grinding them out.
That's old school Mourinho second half of the season tactics right there. Just grind out the 1-0ers, That's the titles, boys,
Yeah.
I will just say, just with that Bergwijn comment, I'm really interested to see if Tottenham do sign Adama Traore, and he's just employed Jorge Mendes to be his agent to get this deal done, because apparently Nuno wants him there. If that does happen, I'll be really interested to see if Bergwijn loses a spot to Traore, because I think Traore in a team with Kane, Son, I think he can start finishing a bit better than he does.
Well, I mean, if anything, he's going to draw a lot of attention to himself, like, fuck me. We'll get to him at some point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's this game week, but for this pod, but holy shit, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about him next pod, but that's just one to think about for Bergwijn owners, I think.
I just don't get it though, because Nuno wasn't playing him at Wolves. So why does he want him now all of a sudden? And then is it just to keep him on the bench again? And why is Traore so keen to go to a manager that's going to bench him?
We said it last week. He needs that bodyguard in the dugout with him. It's obviously not about the crime in London. He doesn't feel safe.
You got to watch out. It's more Arsenal. You got to watch out throwing bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that covers it here, boys. So, I mean, Tottenham still have some question marks there. And yeah, I think, after transfer deadline day, when we do our next pod next week, we might have more to say on that with Traore. You know what? I'm going to go first this week. I'm going to predict this one.
Do it, mate.
Do it.
Yeah. 1-0 to Tottenham. Why not? I mean, they've had a pretty solid start to this season, and I reckon we'll see Sonny on the score sheet.
Yeah, okay. It could happen.
Yeah, look, and I mean, it's a good fixture for Tottenham. I'm not sure where they go after this. I don't have that. I don't know if you've got that, Hito.
Their fixture schedule, Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle.
So a little bit mixed, but pretty good in general.
Yeah,
so,
not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad time to own Tottenham players.
Mm.
Okay.
Now, boys, can I start this next one with a little song?
Oh, yeah.
We lose every week. We lose every week. You're nothing
special. We lose every week.
That was amazing. I don't even have anything to say. I'm just smiling here.
And if you're wondering, yeah.
What's happening there?
Well, it's pretty funny because, I was watching the post-match interview with Arteta, and he's like, I'm really happy with the support from the fans. And, he kept talking about, he's like, even through the hardship, it's, good support. And, mate, did you hear what they were actually chanting?
Mate, a third of them left throughout the game.
I don't know what he's smoking, but I need some.
Oh, man, yeah. So Arsenal got demolished 5-0 by City. And then they're versing Norwich next, who lost 2-1 to Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's actually the run of a pretty good run of fixtures for Arsenal. So if there was any sort of fixture for them to start fixing the problems, it's now. But obviously they're going to be pretty demoralised, and they lost to They lost Xhaka this week with that dangerous challenge, got that straight red. So he's going to be out for 3 weeks through a lot of those good fixtures. I mean, he's their captain, right?
I think Alba is their captain now.
Okay.
But he was their captain. And then, yeah.
But, that's someone, a kind of key player in their midfield that they've lost for what is hopefully the best run of fixtures for them. So, yeah, just very shit for Arsenal fans and for people who own Arsenal assets. As you know, I got rid of mine, but
yeah.
Anything of note there, Miles? Odegaard, anything?
Look, I didn't see any promises. I agree that if there's any time for Arsenal to get going in their season, it's starting now with this fixture and for the next few fixtures they have. But if they don't, I reckon that they're in a relegation scrap. I think mentally that I'm dead serious. I think mentally the players just aren't really there, and it's not the old Arsenal. They're not a top 4 team. They're not a top 6 team anymore. And they've got to really ask themselves some questions. I heard that Willian was trying to pay Arsenal to leave the club. Like, when you've got a player that is that desperate to leave the club, like, you've got some serious problems.
No, well, I don't know. There's been mixed reports about that. I'd heard something different in that he acknowledged that it hadn't worked out, basically, at Arsenal because he did not have a good season there. And clearly wanted to move to Corinthians. I think it was Corinthians.
Yeah.
And basically said, I won't, we can rip up the contract kind of thing. No need to pay.
That's nice of him.
So look, he probably learnt those manners at Chelsea because we're such a lovely bunch of lads over there. But that was, I think what I'd heard was that that's what he did. He did a noble act.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens, boys. In this run of fixtures, if they lose a couple, they might lose their manager, and then who knows what they can do, turn it around. But yeah, for FPL, it's not looking good.
For SPF 50.
SPF 50. Put on the 50. And the burns hurt.
And just to segue over to Norwich and still talking about Arsenal in a way, I think that they should be slightly worried about Norwich. Because Norwich, for me, look like they played their best game that they have done so far this season. And maybe they're kind of just brewing into it, losing Buendia, wasn't it? Their best player last season. Maybe they're kind of working out how to be a bit more creative because, they had 14 shots against Leicester, which is the most amount of shots that they've had all season. And they looked like they were getting in some better positions for me. And to verse a low esteemed Arsenal could be just what they need for their first win. So I'm actually anticipating quite an interesting game because both teams will be trying to win it, being bottom of the table.
Look, I don't know here, mate. I think that Norwich is a relegation team, and I know you like to say Arsenal is too, but Norwich are getting relegated this year.
Yeah, maybe with Arsenal. You never know.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. Well, I mean, Pukki was the one scoring from the penalty spot in this game. I don't have much to say other than that. I know you like their chances, but I'm not jumping on any of their assets. They'd have to be very consistent for me to be going, oh my God, I'm picking up.
I agree. I'm not jumping on their assets. I'm just, if you're in a very deep league and Pukki's available, I think he's a chance just because Arsenal don't seem like they're very defensive at the moment. I mean, they let Gundogan score from a header. I mean, the guy's 5'2". How do you let that happen?
Gundogan isn't that short, is he?
No, he's not. I'm being a bit exaggerated.
Hey Siri, how high? Hey, fuck, I fucked it up.
How high is he?
How high am I right now?
How much weight is he smoking?
Hey Siri, how tall is Gundogan? She'll never know what I'm talking
Siri listening to you? She turned on.
1 sec, it's happening. Oh, she's really
Oh,
struggling.
I've got it, boys. I've got it. Wikipedia. He's 5'11".
Yeah,
That's pretty tall.
he's nearly fucking 6 foot.
That's pretty tall.
Oh, Miles. All right, let's just wrap this up. I want a prediction here, and I'm going to give it to Miles because I really want to give him shit when we come back to this next week.
I think it's going to be a draw, and I think they're going to be goals. I'm going to say 2-2.
Wow. Okay.
I was going to say 3-0 Arsenal, just for reference.
Peter, we weren't asking.
They battered West Brom in the week. They might get some confidence from shit teams.
Well, Hito, I have a question. Are you tanking this week?
Oh, mate, no way.
Are you picking up any Arsenal players?
No.
Well, there you go. All right. Brentford versus Brighton.
Yeah. Tony with a goal finally.
Look, yeah. So Brentford drew 1-1 with Villa, which is a great result for them. And Brighton losing 2-0 to Everton. Now, yeah, as Hito was saying, Tony, my boy.
Top bin.
Yeah.
That was a nice finish. And as a Tony owner, he needed to do that soon.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony. Yeah, like it felt good to see that go in and to see him finish that way. Gave me a bit of confidence in the pickup.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, because I drafted him. So, yeah, I'm really hoping that, that he benefits from that attacking setup at Brentford for this season. And a pretty good result against Aston Villa to draw 1-1. Basically, Raya kept him in it.
Yeah.
Off Ings' shot there.
Yeah. He had 4 saves this game.
He looks really good to me. And I mean, I remember doing all the research on all the promotion teams, and I remember hearing that Brentford was pretty loose, defensively, but scored a lot of goals, most prolific attacking wise. And obviously Watford had the best defensive record. But I wasn't really expecting Raya to be such a good keeper. Like, I hadn't even heard good things about him. I thought I'd actually heard pretty average things about Raya before the season. And now I'm watching, I'm like, fuck, is he in a purple patch? Like, he looks like a great keeper.
He does.
Yeah, pulling out some top saves for sure.
So whether they're going to keep enough clean sheets for him to really be beneficial is, another question. But if they get a good run of fixtures, maybe might be a good player to have on your bench.
Yeah, it's tough. We've got 2 good weeks, Brighton, Wolves, and then Liverpool, West Ham, Chelsea, Leicester. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we spoke about those fixtures changing pretty soon. And I'll have to say that, just for attacking credentials with Brentford, I think it's going to be pretty shared, through, Tony and, a couple of their wingers and stuff. So if you've got a spot for the 5th mid or, if you've got Tony, I think they're pretty, just hold on to him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. For sure. Okay, let's talk about Brighton. I mean, it won't take long here, but they didn't have much of a chance in this one, did they?
No, it didn't live up to the standards of the hype we've been giving them. Maybe that's what we cursed them.
We completely jinxed them.
We jinxed them, boys. So,
no, that was...
But they are playing against Everton, who I think are, creating quite a bit of form, especially that they had from the start of last season. And, they've got some pretty good fixtures coming up. This week, Brentford, Leicester's not great, but then Palace, Arsenal, Norwich straight after that. So I think they can definitely get some wins, which will be good for their fantasy assets.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't back off them just from this loss. It would have been good to see them get a result here, but look, it is what it is. And I just don't know what assets are theirs that are really like exciting. Is it Morpay? Is that what we're thinking here? Like, is it Gross?
Yeah, I'd say attacking wise, there's not heaps that you can jump on that aren't probably already taken, like your Morpay and Pascal Gross has looked really great. Got that form from a couple of seasons ago. But I'd say defensively, that they do look pretty sound. I know this game is a bit of a write-off, but I do back them defensively. With Duffy, he started off really well, and their keeper Sanchez, and you can't go past a bit of dunk. Funky dunk.
Oh, I know. He's amazing. And they were short Solly March for this game as well. So, yeah. I don't know how long Solly's out for, but, it could affect their back line. Okay, let's get a prediction here.
Heat.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 to Brighton.
Yeah, I like it.
I just wanted to go really silent. Just
dead silent.
2-1 to Brighton. Yeah, fair enough. Does Tony get Brentford's goal?
Nah.
You pretty.
Just to fuck with you.
Okay, nice. Okay, Leicester versus Manchester City.
Yeah, big fixture for the week.
This is a big test for Leicester.
I think so.
They haven't had a cracking start to the season. I mean, they've been okay, but just don't quite see it to be themselves. I mean, as we said, they won 2-1 against Norwich. City won 5-0 against Arsenal. Absolute bollocking.
Yeah. Well, it was a nice finish from Vardy, boys. Nice pass in from Pereira.
Yeah, Pereira almost replicated an assist he did from last week.
The first week, yeah.
Oh, it was the first week, yes. Sorry, yeah. So I mean, he's looking like he's very much getting down those down the wings, and he's connecting with Vardy, who has no problem finishing those.
No, none at all.
I'd
Too
say
easy though. He was so open.
Yeah,
literally unmarked.
It was easy.
I know it was,
but he's a finisher.
Yeah,
but just to back up your point from how you started, Whitey, I think Leicester assets, they haven't looked as good as they should, especially against a team like Norwich. But they're kind of just like ones to watch. We know that they've got that predatory, clinical kind of aspect to their game. So, but what I want to ask is, do you guys think that they just look better as 4-4-2? Because when they had Iniacho playing the tail end of last season, I just think that they look better. Vardy playing a deeper role, something what Kane does quite recently. What do you guys think?
I don't actually know, to be honest, enough about how they've been playing in terms of their formation. Like, what was their form like at the end of last season? Because they were ahead and then they kind of fell away at the end of the season. But
just for like goal scoring ways, I think that they just look so much better, especially with Kalichi in the team. And I'm so surprised that Rodgers hasn't given him more time at the start of the season. Maybe that's going to come later, but, and he's giving Barnes and Maddison, those chances after being injured the tail end. But, I mean, I just think you've got to give him time.
I think he's earned it for sure, but yeah, Rodgers loves his boy Harvey, so we'll have to see. He keeps pulling him off about 70 or 60 minutes, so
yeah, well, he's managing his minutes a bit, making sure he's not going to re-injure. But yeah, I think we can move on to City here, boys. Now, Jesus is looking good. Torres, I mean, I don't think they need a striker.
Doesn't look like it, man. Myley G called it last week saying Jesus looks good on the wing, and he carried that on. Great crosses in, good finish.
And Torres is looking good up front.
Yeah.
I think he's potentially going to be a massive asset this season. It's hard to kind of deny it. He's rated as a mid, right?
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's a hard one with there's still so much potential. Like Sterling didn't start on the left, Mahrez didn't start on the right. It's still.
I know, and KDB's not in the squad. Foden hasn't come back yet, so there's still a lot to see. But I mean, for now, Jesus and Torres are connecting really well up the front there.
Yeah.
Any other highlights for you boys that was something stood out?
Well, obviously their defense, is just looks really good, but Arsenal didn't really test them in that. But it's just that City hold the ball so much, and against any team, not even Arsenal. So
Yeah.
I mean, defensively, you do risk playing Pep roulette, but if they don't play, they're not likely to come on, because you can see that Pep actually just keeps on going for goals even when they've won the game, because he's obviously worried about that goal difference. So he's usually going to bring on, their attackers rather than defenders. So you can always just try and play for auto sub with Pep's defense.
Yeah, 100%. And that's, we've talked about that before. It's a good strategy.
Yeah. Oh, boys, did you see the chance Edison nearly fucked up when he passed across goal? He was sitting on the line. And
that was atrocious.
The one rule you learn in football, lads, don't pass across goal.
Or kick it into your own goal. I thought it was kick it into your own goal.
Smith Rowe nearly nicked a consolation there.
Yeah, look, and that would have been heartbreaking because I just dropped him. But
yeah, I think in the first half he made more touches and passes than like Smith Rowe, and then in the second half he didn't touch the ball for about 24 minutes. The commentators said.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
He literally didn't touch it. It was crazy. But yeah, City are just City, man. For FPL, this is just a tonking. And
Grealish looks though. I know we know Grealish is good, but geez. Like, he ripped Arsenal's defense for that assist.
Yeah.
He's definitely playing himself into that team, and he's going to be tough for Sterling to take back that spot from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I said it. Oh, you got Myley G?
Oh, I was just going to make a comment. He ripped it in two ways. Like, he ripped it apart and he RIP'd Arsenal defense.
Sorry, Chambers. You're gone.
100%. And I brought up last week that in the other games he was playing in that second line in the midfield three, whereas this game he played as the furthest forward left side player, and we saw that kind of difference in the influence, obviously against a shit defense,
and also in a position that that's where he plays, so very nice. And that hit from Rodri, oh my god,
that was the pick of the bunch.
It just curled. Oh my god, I frothed on that one.
Don't get too excited though.
No.
He doesn't score many.
Oh, no, I'm not going to pick him up fantasy-wise. I just had to shout out his goal. I can't believe we're not hearing any of Hito's auto-tuned voice right now.
What? Just because he passed it into the back of the net?
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, my standards aren't as low as my scores in fantasy, all right?
Shreds himself. I like that. Well, just before we move on here, Sterling missed a couple of good opportunities in this game, Miles, and he's not starting. You did joke about dropping him, but are you serious?
No, I'm not serious. Like, as I said last couple of weeks, I know that, he hasn't been starting Mahrez and Sterling, but when you draft players like this, you pretty much have to play them and just hope for the best. And if not, I don't mind actually trading him, even if I get a little bit unders for what he's potentially worth. I'm kind of looking at a trade at the moment to do a package deal with one of my keepers, because I got Edison and Allison and one of my City midfielders, Mahrez or Sterling. So I'm actually trying to scope out who I want to kind of get and try and work out some sort of trade for those two players, because they're a little bit surplus for me, if you will. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, with a little bit of strategy with that going forward.
Yeah, I like to boost your squad a bit. Yeah, nice.
Okay, well, let's get a prediction for the City Leicester game. Oh, is it me?
I think
it's back to me.
Yeah,
it is back to me.
Do it.
Oh man, I didn't want to predict this one. I think Leicester look a little bit meh. I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet. 3-1.
You reckon they're going to score?
I reckon Vardy's capable of anything, mate.
Yeah.
Sure, and I will say Leicester have been City's bogey team, especially in the last 3 seasons.
They have. They got some good wins last year.
Yeah, and the year before. So, I mean, I won't be surprised. It's Leicester at home. But yeah, I think any result's possible.
Yeah, well, for sure. As always, any result is possible. Thanks for that insight, Miles.
You get all the good stuff here at Draft Boys, don't you?
Yeah, no, that was a good one. I couldn't let that one slide. So, Manchester United versus Newcastle. Bit of fun, I think, to talk about United here. Now, yeah, look, United won 1-0 against Wolves. So,
They left it late, didn't they?
Not a convincing win. Yeah, not a convincing win. But, Newcastle obviously drew 2-2 with Southampton in quite an interesting game, which we'll get to in a second. But, Miles, what do you think about this United performance?
Yeah, as I said before, they left it late. But I think that Wolves just looked really good. I felt like Wolves dominated most of the game. I think the better team possibly lost. I think you guys might agree with me on that one.
No, I 100% was thinking Wolves looked amazing. And I think they've actually looked really good going forward for a fair bit of this season. They haven't quite grinded out the results yet, but it just seemed to be a couple of their players that are on the brink. So it'll be interesting to talk about that next pod, obviously. But, yeah, just United didn't look that convincing.
They didn't. And I have to say the best player on the pitch for United has got to be Mason Greenwood. As always throughout what we've said this season, he's really filled that role. He's taken it on by the chin of the neck.
Yeah, I think I've never heard the saying chin of the neck, but
what was I trying to say?
By the skin of his teeth, maybe? By the chin of the neck. I love it. Oh, the scruff of the neck, the chin of the neck. Oh, Miles, I couldn't let that one go.
No, don't.
He's clean shaven, so he doesn't have any...
grandmother, chin of the neck.
Yeah. If you know, our long-term listeners know I come out with the doozies, but if you listen to my advice, you win leagues, so don't give up on me yet.
Hey, I mean, I'm not saying that we can't coin that phrase. I mean, I just wanted to point it out.
Maybe I'll get my own little catchphrase.
Okay, I think I need to take this one by the chin of the neck and just say that, Greenwood's finish was amazing. He just looks so good. I think he's set to play pretty much a super sub role for most of the season.
Now that Ronnie's in?
Well, now that Ronnie's in, do we want to get into that or do we want to talk a little bit more game before we get into that?
Let's get into it. I don't think we need to talk about too much more.
Oh, the De Gea double save? That was frothy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolling back the years there with that one.
Yeah.
He wants to play with Ronnie, so it's like, I've got to up my performances. I've got to be in the starting 11.
So does everyone.
Can't have good old third sub keeper Tom Heaton coming on and playing instead.
Oh my God, Tom Heaton. Well, what did you think about the Pogba foul as well? Or was it a foul?
Bit of controversy. I don't think it's a foul, mate. He was on his feet, Neves, and then he just dropped down after a couple of steps. I thought it was soft as.
He scraped him a little bit, but
he did fly in.
It's hard when you see the stud scraping. It goes one way or the other.
I think there was a challenge. I think the Xhaka challenge, was a variation on that. He still got a bit of ball, but he flew in dangerously.
He flew him 2 feet off the ground.
Xhaka flew in from the other side of the screen and went straight across. Pogs just put his... I'm on Pogs' side.
All right.
It's that new haircut. It's got you falling in love.
Okay, so...
Rolling back the years,
just before we... Just before we talk about Ronaldo... So following today's win, Manchester United are now unbeaten in their last 28 Premier League away matches, which is a new record for the longest unbeaten away run in English Football League history.
Wow.
Decent.
You would never know it, eh? I don't know. I feel like they're flying under the radar a lot.
Yeah.
Even the fact that they came second last year, I was like, oh yeah, United came second.
Yeah.
They just... I don't know. For some reason, they just still seem a bit shit, which I guess leads me to the next point.
Well, also, they got 10 draws and 18 wins, so maybe the 10 draws is bit
Yeah,
shit.
feet draws
The
in,
bit
feet draws in.
shit. The bit shit opinion. Then maybe that's helping that.
Well, I feel like the name that we've been skirting around here won't really let that happen in the dressing room. Big Ronald.
Yeah, Ronald McDonald.
Fuck.
Are you talking about Rondon? Rondon's coming back. Isn't
Yeah,
it,
yeah. Rondon's going to United.
Yeah.
No, Ronaldo. Wow. I mean, when they were talking about him going to City, I was like, that's never happening. And I just thought that the rumors were just bullshit, that he was just going to stay at Juventus.
Me too, yeah.
Because I heard that City rumor. I'm like, that's bullshit. He's not going to go there. And then all of a sudden, it's like, he's at United. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's huge, man. It's huge. It's like they were already up there in terms of looking like a good team to beat this year. And this is just taking them to the stratosphere. Like if they don't win something this year, you don't know. What will it take?
I don't know. And I feel like Ole probably won't be managing the team anymore. Ronaldo will be taking care of that. So
Maybe that's the plan. Player, coach, and then he'll just become manager.
Oh, perfect. Slip right in. Can you imagine him as the manager? Oh, talk about a task.
Oh, can you imagine the suits he'd wear on the sideline?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be fresh. He would never have one of those little manager guts, eh? He would just be like full shred.
The funniest thing, like just personally, about the whole Ronaldo transfer, my mate Michael T-Bone to Salas, I got to give him a shout out. He called me at 6:15 in the morning when it was actually confirmed. He's a massive United fan, like loves Ronnie. He's like, sorry, I'm calling so early. I just had to. Ronnie's back. I'm bringing him in budget. I'm captaining him every week. You're fucked. I love him. Oh my God. And just hangs up the phone.
He's probably mid wank. That's why.
Gotta go. Got another chub. Gotta leave. Oh, fuck. Well, I respect that. The excitement was real. I mean, it's exciting. It's a huge thing for fantasy. And as we were saying before, we have not seen someone this massive come into the Premier League after the draft.
The only thing that would top it is fucking Messi. Like he's the GOAT. Like he's one of the GOATs. You can't.
I know.
Even at 36.
And the thing is as well, like there was no rumor. There was no rumor when we drafted that Ronaldo might even be coming in. You know, you could have started that tanking strategy early, but none of us knew that. So
yeah, it's 1 week turnaround.
You know what it is? It's just Fergie time, isn't it? It's the epitome of what Fergie time means. United coming in, scoring that late goal, winning the fucking league. Like it's just, it has the potential to be that, eh?
Well, Fergie was there. Did you see him in the stands at the United game?
Yeah.
And they were like, he's well and truly not finished. He played a pivotal part in the signing of Ronaldo. I'm like, mate, Ronaldo goes wherever the fuck Ronaldo wants. Like, if he wanted to leave Juventus, like, he was like, okay, I want to go to United. And then United like, okay, yep, we'll pay that.
Yeah.
So from a fantasy perspective, does he come in as a forward in the system, or is he going to be a midfielder?
I think so.
I genuinely think he'll be a forward.
Me too.
And will he play up front is, I guess, my other thing.
I 100% think he'll play up front. I think what's the point of bringing him in and wasting his energy running up and down the wing when you've got all those young kids that they do, like Sancho, Rashford to come back, Greenwood, like why bother? He's a finisher and he's going to get in those poaching positions. He's going to be hitting balls from outside the box. I think he plays up front. And
you reckon he'll be on pens?
Yeah.
Look, as a Fernandes owner, I'm very, very worried about it. Because how can you not give it to him? You got to give it to him.
I know. But
in the contract. It's probably in the contract.
Yeah, that's really worrying. That's going to affect...
Maybe not free kicks. I don't know, because they might want him in the box.
Well, Ronaldo hasn't taken as many free kicks of late, I don't think. Like, I think Bruno has been pretty solid in that.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty...
For Fernandes owners, he'll probably be taken off pens. He still might have some free kicks, but it might actually increase his assists and also, opening it up to to get those tap ins.
Well, Ronnie laying it off. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, is Bruno a corner taker? I think Shaw is one. Is Bruno the other corner taker?
Yeah.
I was going to say he's got corner assists. Ronnie in the box.
Yeah, he's a jumper, that boy.
Yeah, he can jump. Man can jump.
He's got
So would you say the front four is Ronaldo up front, like maybe Rashi on the left, Bruno?
I think Rashi and Greenwood are going to share it.
Rashi and Greenwood will share, not Sancho?
Sancho's on the right.
Sancho's on the right, though, yeah.
You think, really?
I think Rashi and Greenwood will be competing on the left.
I think so,
Rashi.
yeah.
Come on, Rashi. I think Rashi could stand to benefit a lot from having Ronaldo on this team.
Yeah,
I think everyone will.
Yeah, I think the good thing about Greenwood is he can play kind of anywhere. Like he's he's like a Jota backup. Like he can play.
Yeah, he's good on both sides. Yeah, he's got a mean shot on him.
Yeah,
yeah, that's exactly right.
We'll have to see. I think he'll play whilst Rashi's out. So.
Okay, yeah, no, I do agree with that for sure. Let's talk about Newcastle because, this was a battle of the relegation teams here. 2-2 was the score.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Miles, one of your ex-boys.
Yeah, I've always got a love for my boy Wilson. He's just so clutch. Like, he's such a poacher and he's such a finisher. He's kind of like Vardy, I think. Not Vardy levels, because obviously he hasn't played in teams that will give him all the service, but he's just such a fantastic player. And I've got to give a shout out to St. Maximum. I shouted him out a couple of weeks ago as a better option. And what about his celebration, boys? That
Dude, the capoeira.
Love it.
Yeah.
That was hectic. And it was what a hit from him.
Yeah. Good finish.
There was no fucking around there, and he was psyched on that. So, yeah, I think people should be paying attention to him. That's for sure. Will they be playing against Southampton's defense every week? Probably not, but still, that's a pretty lethal pairing up front. So,
yeah, agree.
Definitely in the conversation. I think the only other thing to say is that we're not interested in Newcastle defensive assets this season. Doesn't seem to be a focus. So, yeah, I think we could probably round it out for this podcast. I think that's our 5th game, and that'll do us for this one. We'll get a prediction from, I think it's
Myley. Myley G.
All right. I think is Ronnie playing? I've heard he might, but what about this 2-week quarantine? Like, I don't know. Look, I'm going to just predict it as if Ronnie's playing, and I'm going to say 4-1.
Oh, God, Hito, you must have a semi right now.
Oh, mate, give me your mate's number and I can call him up and we can jerk off together.
Okay, and I think on that note, we're going to leave before Hito gets too raunchy. Boys, another good week. Please make sure you hit us up on socials, FPL Draft Boys. We're always there and we're always keen to address people's team queries on the pod. So we've got time this week with the international break. So reach out to us if you've got any questions and we'll try and answer them in the pod.
For sure. And I'll say from the socials, I got a really interesting hit up about maybe bringing back Kings and Peasants. It was one of our listeners' favorite segments.
Wow.
And I will say, long-time listener, so I'm pretty impressed by that. And we're working on something to bring back in a little late-night game for y'all. So keep tuned, and we'll come up with something.
No worries. Okay, sounds good. All right, boys.